Mr. President, in about 20 minutes, I know we're going to turn to have a tribute to Lyndon Baines Johnson. This is LBJ Day in the Capitol, and there are many fora, there are many speeches that will be made, there are many celebrations. There's a huge reunion of the LBJ family and his former staff people and supporters and cabinet officers. And I'm going to speak in that designated hour. But right now, in morning business, I would like to speak about another great United States Senator. I want to speak about my colleague, Senator Ted Kennedy. We all know that we got a shock yesterday that Senator Kennedy has been diagnosed with a cancerous brain tumor. And he has just been released from the hospital, and we are all so grateful that he has been able to go to the comfort of his own home with his family as they are deciding how the treatment will go forward. But I just want to take a moment to talk about something that we've been working on together. You know, if I could think of one word for Senator Ted Kennedy, it would be he is a fighter. He is a fighter for the causes in which he believes. And when he takes on a cause, we all know, get out of the way. In his 46 years as a United States Senator, he has fought on behalf of the American people, waging so many battles to advance the causes of justice, opportunity, and peace. Now he is set to wage the greatest fight of his life. And in that fight, he has the support and prayers of all of his colleagues and of all of the American people. Senator Kennedy's startling diagnosis comes the week after he and I announced our commitment to renew the war on cancer. For the last several months, Senator Kennedy and I have been working on a bill to evaluate our progress on cancer research and treatment, address our shortcomings, and renew our commitment to eradicating this disease. There is no other person I would rather be working with on this initiative now more than ever. Senator Kennedy's diagnosis is such a poignant reminder that the battle has not been won. On May 8th, his committee that he chairs, the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, held a hearing to discuss the Kennedy-Hutchison bill. Advocates and survivors of cancer, such as Lance Armstrong and Elizabeth Edwards, spoke about the need for progress and reform in all areas of cancer research and treatment. In the 37 years since the National Declaration of the War on Cancer, the age-adjusted mortality rate for cancer is still very high. And when it's compared to the mortality rates of other chronic diseases, it's extraordinarily high. While there have been substantial achievements since the crusade began, we are far from winning this war. Let's look at the statistics. Today, 1 out of 2 men and 1 out of 3 women will develop cancer in their lifetime. In my home state of Texas, approximately 96,000 people are expected to be diagnosed with cancer, and 35,000 are expected to die of cancer in 2008 alone. The NIH, the National Institute of Health, estimates that the overall cost of cancer to our nation in 2007 was $219 billion. These grim statistics should not belie the wealth of knowledge that we have gained over the years. But it is time for legislation to address the shortcomings in the structure of cancer research and treatment. Senator Kennedy and I are leading the effort to renew our war on cancer. We want to continue our search for cures, more effective treatments, and better preventative measures. The cancer community must embrace a coordinated assault against this disease. We must start looking at more cooperative efforts that focus on the big picture. The bill that Senator Kennedy and I will introduce is targeted at the following: removing barriers currently hindering our progress in cancer research and treatment, to improve access to early detection measures and cancer care, reduce disparities in cancer treatment, increase enrollment in clinical trials. This is a very important part that I think is one of the keys that we are missing, and encourage additional opportunities for cancer research and more cooperative cancer research. Our bill will encourage the movement of medications and treatments from the laboratory to the bedside more quickly. It is time that we started sharing more information. There's great research being done at many of our institutions. Some in my home state of Texas, some in his home state of Massachusetts are the very best. In Maryland at Johns Hopkins, in Minnesota, we have wonderful research institutions. But Mr. President, we're not sharing the information enough. We need to make sure that this is a wholesale war and we're all in the same army, that we're marching in the same direction, and that we are coordinated in doing that. As Senator Kennedy wages his own personal war on this dreaded disease, he will also be leading America's war on cancer with the Kennedy-Hutchison bill that we will introduce in the Senate. So many times, Senator Kennedy has been the voice for the American people. He will truly be the voice for this bill to renew the war on cancer at this very difficult time in his life. I know that he is going to be standing on this floor. He is going to be negotiating this bill. He is going to be relentless in making sure that it goes through with a bipartisan support. We will work with the President. He will work with this President, as he has done in the field of education especially, because I have seen how he has worked with President Bush to further the public education and the commitment to public education in our country. So Senator Kennedy and I are going to renew the war on cancer with a new vigor, and we are going to do it together, and he is going to pass this legislation, and he is going to beat this with all of our help and with the spirit that is already in him. I know he will be by my side and by all of our sides in his fight and in his fight for the American people. And we are going to support him at this time in every possible way. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.